than 100 years, the Melbourne Cup has stood as the symbol of Australian sporting excellence. From the heroics of Farland, a national hero that took on the world and won, to modern-day champions and magic moments that inspire an entire country. For some, it's more than just 2 miles. It's the end of a lifelong journey in the pursuit of horse racing's holy grail.
Chapman and Jezebel. Jezebel's fighting back on the rails and won the cup.
And my beautiful wife and children home watching. I love you all, and we done it. Woo!
At last, it's back again. 12 months on from that last piece of wondrous theatre, a new chapter will be written into the annals of Australian sporting history. Today, a sense of achievement and national pride is revealed in all of us and displayed for the world to see.
Safely in front with Freedman. Bart Cummings has got his 10th Melbourne Cup.
So stand up and cheer, Australia. This is our finest hour. The colour, the excitement and the passion.
Ben Wiseman, Might and Power the leader. Doremus is coming at him. Doremus after Might and Power. Might and Power and Doremus, they in it. Oh, it's close.
What a great finish. That is one of the great finishes in Melbourne Cup history.
From pillar to post. This is what horse racing is all about. Welcome to the spirit of Australia for the 1999 Foster's Melbourne Cup. Live and exclusive to Network 10.
Away they go. The gates have crashed back and the big one is underway. As they come down the straight the first time. It's going up on the outside of. Got 2,000 metres left to travel. It's a fight over the Melbourne Cup.
This is the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Run over 3,200 metres. It's been Australia's greatest horse race. One of these 100,000 people have their eyes cast toward the track, but before that, the national anthem of Australia to be sung by Kate Sobrano.
We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Well, there you go, you see. John Williamson leads the crowd to sing Waltzing Matilda at the rugby, and Kate's led them to sing Advance Australia Fair here at the Melbourne Cup of 1999. They weren't in very good voice, but let me tell you something, I don't think they care very much. Let's go back down to Peter and Jenny on one of Melbourne's magnificent days. We're ready for the great race.
And Tim Webster, I'm joined by a man who won the Melbourne Cup twice as a jockey aboard Light Fingers and Red-Handed, Roy Higgins. And these boys would be feeling the butterflies in the pit of the stomach right at this moment.
And do you know, Pete, the majority of them will tell you they wouldn't be.
What did you make of them?
Oh, it was a wonderful sight down there. I went with the favourite in 3 Sky Heights selected, and if I was going for a roughie, I'd probably throw 19 Brew in. Hard to catch on his day, but he paraded looking beautifully. I went 3, 11, 18 and 19. The international horses, I thought probably Travel Mate looked a bit uptight, as did Yavana's Pace. Both of them look to be feeling the effects of it. Whether or not they perform on race day is another thing. I certainly hope they do for all concerned.
The man who won the Melbourne Cup twice, Roy Higgins. Let's get a last-minute update from the betting ring. Tim Gossage.
Peter, Sky Heights is still the favourite. Has been late specking for Sky Heights. Best back for the race since the betting opened of the Melbourne Cup has certainly been number 17, Rogan Josh.
The runners are moving into the gates now, and for the last time in the 1900s, the Melbourne Cup is about to be run in front of a massive crowd here at Flemington, an expectant nation, and many far-flung parts of the world. Weeks and months and years of preparation are about to pay off for one set of connections with the realisation of a dream. For his 11th call of the Foster's Melbourne Cup, Dan Mielicki, and with him in the commentary box, former champion jockey Gary Willetts. Gentlemen, what a scene we have in front of us.
Absolutely incredible up here, Peter. It's just say that the three imported horses, by gee, they all look very well. I thought Travel Mate, once he got out of the mounting yard and he's done his preliminary, I watched him down the start and he's definitely settled down. Ivana's pace has gone down all right, and I thought that Bart Cummings' horse, Rogan Josh, looked absolutely magnificent. But it's a race of dreams, Danny, and someone's dream will come true in a couple of minutes.
We're not far away. Most of the runners have been locked away.
The horses are drawn out wide. There it is. You've got that run down about 600 metres from the start to the finish post there. Then that long sweeping turn. There's the tips. Travel Mate from Jenny Chapman, Richard Freeman, Sky Heights, Johnny Letts Behemoth, Peter Donegan, Dan Mielicki, and Gary, myself. We've all gone for Sky Heights. But you just got to be able to hold your ground coming down to this first corner. That's what Sky Heights and Damien Oliver will want to be doing. They're all moving in pretty good. Only two to go in. It's important you get that nice run. You've got to get your horse relaxed so you'll see out the distance. You use them up too much going down to the winning post the first time, you've really got no hope. The horse that can relax will be the horse that you'll see get home. They're just about all in. One to go.
Figurehead goes up, set for the Foster's Melbourne Cup 1999. Racing. Sky Heights jumped away well down on the inside. Ivana's pace jumped away fairly. Further out on the track, Rogan Josh began nicely, and so too did Brew. Second coming, ZAZABELLE. The message going forward in the early part of the race, and they were followed by Central Park. He's right off the track. Tie the knots about middle of the field, and Zembuan is going up towards the leaders with LAHAR as they race onto the course proper. 2,800 metres to go, and the Warrior's going to work across in front. The Warrior leads now from Rogan Josh out wide. Central Park is handy, and then the message. Next is Zembuan, then ZAZABELLE. Tie the knots up, racing about 7th or 8th on the outside of Second Coming. Then came the Hind on the rails. Wide out was Ivana's pace around Arena. Then LAHAR, Travel Mate on the fence. Sky Heights is worse than midfield from Able Master. Through Arena's out 4 wide. Then Streak Rebor. Skybo next, and Marat Poor as they chop and change with a slackening of the speed beyond midfield. Figureheads wide, leaving the straight. Labille had to go back from her wide draw, and then Lady Elsie and Behemoth down on the inside as they leave the straight. He would be about 18 lengths off the lead. Central Park goes to the lead now for Frankie Dettori and leads by 1.5 lengths on Rogan Josh. Over on the inside, third is the Warrior. 1.5 lengths to the message. Zembuan 5th on the inside, 2 lengths to ZAZABELLE. Then the Hind beautifully placed on the inside of Second Coming. Out wide was Tie the Knot, now around LAHAR and Travel Mates on the rails. Then Ivana's pace outside Sky Heights, who's one off the fence. Next is Rebor. Then Able Master. Arena 3 deep from Marat Poor, Brew, Skybo, Streak, Behemoth figurehead. Labille second last, and Lady Elsie at the tail end of the field, and must be 15 to 18 lengths off the lead. They're at the halfway mark, 1,600 to go. And Central Park leads by a length now. The message into second spot. The Warrior third, a length back to Rogan Josh fourth. 2 lengths Zembuan is fifth, another length away ZAZABELLE. Then the Hind on the rails are half away, then a Second Coming. Travel Mate next from the grey LAHAR. Then came Sky Heights on the inside of Tie the Knot. A length away Ivana's pace midfield from Arena. Then came Rebor. Able Master, Marat Poor, Brew next, and then Behemoth. Back on the rails was Skybo, and towards the tail end we have Labille, and at the rear of the field is Lady Elsie as they work to the back. They've got 1,000 metres left to go in the Foster's Melbourne Cup, and Central Park is the leader. The message is second. The Warrior third. Rogan Josh was fourth. Then ZAZABELLE. Zembuan the inside, the Hind in the centre. Another length away Second Coming from Travel Mate. Tie the Knots about 5 lengths off the lead. Next is LAHAR. Sky Heights on the rails. Around them wide was Rebor, and they were followed by Ivana's pace. Marat Poor making a dash around the outside was Brew, and also figurehead wide. Well back was Arena coming to the turn from Behemoth, and then came well back was Lady Elsie to the bend. Skybo, Ivana's pace. There's one that's lost the rider there coming to the home bend. Could well have been it. Ivana's pace as they turn for home. Labille's back last at Central Park in front. ZAZABELLE going up on the outside. The Warrior on the rails, and Travel Mate getting a run through. Central Park's in front of Rogan Josh. Travel Mate getting around the hind, trying to come through. Rogan Josh going up the Central Park. Down on the inside, the Warrior, ZAZABELLE, then LAHAR in second coming. Central Park, Rogan Josh. Down on the inside was the Warrior. It's Central Park and Rogan Josh. Rogan Josh, the outside. Bart's got his 11th cup. Rogan Josh has won the cup. John Marshall and Bart Cummings have beaten Central Park. Good go for third with ZAZABELLE. Travel Mate, the Warrior, LAHAR, and then second coming. Next in the hind, followed by Zabuan Skybow. Back behind those runners would have been Figurehead, followed in by Bohemoth, and then Bruce. Sky Heights never got into it. Marit Poor, Lady Elsie, and then came Streak. Labille back behind those. Yabana's Pace was next, and then came Rabor towards the tail end with Figurehead, and we lost one along the way, and I think it may have been Able Master. Coming towards the turn, there was trouble. Yavana's Pace, Able Master. Well, I think it's Able Master that's gone down there, Gary.
There's been a lot of trouble in the straight too, Dan. I don't think it's got anything to do with Rogan Josh. He's gone to the line well, but I noticed Jimmy Cassidy on the hind, 200 metres out. Jimmy nearly fell, and there was horses coming back on top of him. A bit of shifting, but gee, 11 cups to Bart Cummings. Johnny Marshall will be absolutely delighted. It was a brilliant ride. He used him up a little bit early to get over. Then he came over. Now, Johnny Letts is with John Marshall.
Yeah, fellas, I got Johnny Marshall here. John Well, the Melbourne Cup for JB Cummings.
Mate, it's a dream come true. No question about it. It's every jockey's dream to finally do it. It hasn't sunk in, but I know it's building.
It will, and John, there's a lot of people to thank. You know, Bart's had the confidence in you, hasn't he?
Well, on and off he has,
yes.
But I was glad that he stuck with me this time.
He really was, and everybody, I think you had nearly all of Australia out there cheering for you. You were a sentimental favourite. And you, Johnny Marshall, you know, had your highs and lows in racing, but gee, isn't this a high?
It certainly is, John. It makes up for all the lows ever possible.
You've won big ones all over Australia, and how does this compare?
No comparison, John. You just can't compare it.
You can't compare it, Jono. It's great to see you win it, and
thanks,
I'm as happy as everybody else is at Flemington for you. Good luck, Jono.
Thanks very much.
And the rest of the carnival.
Thanks a lot.
That was John Marshall, the winning jockey with Johnny Letts, and here he is, the man who's just won the 11th Melbourne Cup, Bart Cummings. Well done.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yes, you.
Yeah, it was great.
You've become used to this feeling over the years?
Oh, yeah, but they're still hard to win, mate, I tell you.
Yeah, they are hard to win, but he got him in a beautiful spot early. There was a lot of trouble in the field down the straight the first time, and he was just up, parked outside the leader, doing it beautifully.
Well, we've drawn out there a few other times and we've won, and we looked at all the tapes the last couple of days, and we had a plan, and it worked out quite well.
When you first got this horse, Bart, just 4 months ago, did you in your wildest dreams think that you would be in this position with him on the first Tuesday in November?
Of course I did, yes. No way, mate.
Well, what about the achievement? Just before you do go, as I mentioned to you in an interview before the race, you're always calm. What about now? How's Bart Cummings feel right at this very minute on the first Tuesday in November?
Well, I'm happy. I'm relieved. It's all over. Got to start looking for next year now.
I don't detect a tear, do I?
No, that was last year. I didn't have enough on.
Well done.
That was a saintly, wasn't it?
Good on you, Bart.
Okay.
The greatest Melbourne Cup trainer of our era, the greatest Melbourne Cup trainer of any era, James Bartholomew Cummings, who prepares a horse for this day and also the hour and the minute that they go to the stalls when the nation stops for the running of the great race, the Foster's Melbourne Cup. And here is John Marshall returning to scale now after riding a perfect race in a race that the stewards will have plenty to say about, because not the complete field completed the course, but the one at the head of affairs was Rogan Josh, a former Perth galloper. He ran second in the Perth Cup. He was headed to Bart Cummings. Why not give it to Bart? He's the greatest Melbourne Cup trainer of all time. And now, right at this moment, that decision pays dividends in spades. There is a dead heat for third in the Foster's Melbourne Cup between number 12, LAHAR, and number 24, ZAZABELLE. So the numbers are 17, the winner, second placing to number 2, and that was Central Park, and a dead heat for third between LAHAR and ZAZABELLE. And here is John Marshall back to scale now. What a wonderful achievement it is. And I know the owners of this horse agonised over the decision to send him over to the other side of